Hi, this is Taylor Ursula of That's So Pisces, and we have our first Aquarius lunation without Saturn co-present. So let's explore. So this is our third quarter moon. We all remember last week's Scorpio full moon eclipse. So we're ready to let go of lots of ideas, lots of rules, lots of structures by which we have maintained these rules, as well as through which we have been communicating about these rules up to this point. Aquarius is a sign that is about communication, that is about creating frameworks for ideologies so that we can connect as equals, so that we can apply concepts across different areas of interest, and that we can do so with a sense of structure and with a sense of composure. If you remember, Saturn moving through Aquarius was a time where we were kind of upholding a lot of the laws, legislation, jurisdiction, ideology that we've been maintaining for quite some time. The relief we have felt with Saturn moving through Pisces has been about where freedom to start to dissolve some of those traditions is finally becoming available to us. So, with this third quarter lunation happening in Aquarius, after the wake of this really big Scorpio full moon eclipse, we are having our first lunation in Aquarius without that Saturn influence present. There are two conversations happening with Saturn on the day of this Aquarius third quarter moon. One being that Mercury, still in retrograde, about to finish, is having a communication with Saturn in Pisces, having a nice little sextile, maybe showing us where some of the information we're reviewing at this time is turning into some sort of longer term discovery or development. And then we have Venus in a really nice trine to Saturn from Cancer. And Venus is exalted in Pisces, and Venus is able to extract a bit of this from Saturn's placement. And this might show us where we are able to start making connections around what we've experienced with Venus ruling Mercury and Mercury ruling Venus. We can kind of start to unpack some of that confusion, start to lay it out, and start to make sense of what it's showing us about, again, some of the longer term entities we're starting to explore, some of the responsibility that we are newly stepping into, and just getting a sense of what that looks like and feels like, as well as how it connects us moving forward. This is especially nice because the next morning on Friday, Venus and Mercury will finally have a conversation. We've been waiting for this for a minute. I just mentioned that Mercury has been ruling Venus while Venus was in Gemini. Venus also ruling Mercury while Mercury's retrograde in Taurus. They are next door neighbor signs. And for this whole few weeks, we have been confused, missing signals, not picking up what someone's putting down, just too close to be able to know what's going on and how to make sense of any of it. So on Friday, when Venus and Mercury finally sextile, we start to be able to just make sense out of what's been going on for these past few weeks. We start to connect over the ideas that we've had bubbling at the surface, and we ultimately get to start to move forward in some sort of harmonious manner. Let's remember that Mercury is about to station direct on Sunday. So these are all really fruitful connections that help us start to just categorize what we're experiencing, start to understand where there have been frustrations or slip-ups or mistakes, and just start to kind of make those connections start to make sense, starting to put things back where they belong, starting to connect what we want to be doing moving forward. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and pull some cards and get a look at what we've got in store for us in terms of what we're releasing at this Aquarius third quarter moon. See you in a minute.
Okay, so
These are the cards that we pulled back at our Leo first quarter moon, and this is the very special eclipse pull that we did for our Scorpio full moon last week. So we will be pulling cards for our Aquarius third quarter moon to see how we're rounding out this story. Let's go ahead. The questions that we're asking at this third quarter moon: what is coming to a close now? My previous attachment to what is coming to a close now. How I can make meaning from this time of release. And lastly, what I can invite in at this time. Okay. What a potent story that we are wrapping up. Okay, let's take a look. What is coming to a close now? A story of leaving something behind. A story of emotional attachment or involvement, which will certainly show us about what that attachment is connected to. But we probably have been in this eclipse time walking away from things, letting go of things, watching relationships end, watching jobs come to a close, moving out of old spaces, old dynamics, etc. And so that story of needing to walk away is what's coming to a close. If you haven't been on that journey yet, then you may be approaching that part of this journey now, recognizing that there are emotional investments you've made that are no longer filling you the way you have filled them, that there are things, entities, people, spaces, projects that you've poured yourself into heart and soul that no longer mean that to you anymore, no longer deserve or desire that commitment from you. Something is ready to be released, and it is of an emotional component. We have the cups here. We have this ship sailing off into the sunset, kind of following the lead of these birds who are seeking out higher ground, better nutrients, warmer weather. My previous attachment to what is coming to a close now is the Four of Wands. So something we're saying goodbye to used to be something really sacred to us. We once treated this entity, this person, this space, or perhaps plural, with a lot of reverence, with a lot of love. This was a foundation within us that has previously held space for our passions, for our love, for our heart and joy. And so our attachment to whatever we're walking away from is that it's served this purpose for us. It's been a source of joy and celebration for us before. It's been an anchor for us. It's been a space for us to celebrate. And no wonder we are attached to that. How I can make meaning from this process is the Eight of Wands. What messages need to be sent now? Remember that Mercury is about to station direct on Sunday. And I mentioned that Venus and Mercury are linking up on Friday in a conversation in a way they haven't been able to in the past several weeks. And so there may be words you need to say, messages you need to send, business you need to take care of quickly, perhaps as you're saying goodbye to this. And I love seeing an evolution of the Four of Wands as well as a parallel to the Eight of Cups. As we say goodbye to something, we welcome in something. As we walk away from something, we rush towards something. So this Eight of Wands may be asking us to think about perhaps what needs to be said, or perhaps we are able to have some really rapid fire revelations about why we cared about this, about why we're walking away from it, and ultimately what we're opening ourselves up to, which will be next. So what we can invite in at this time: new intuitive ideas. How funny that we've got two wands framed by two cups. We're walking away from something so that ultimately we can open up to something new. I love the page. It's a very intuitive card. It's an emotionally expressive card. It's about new feelings that emerge, not just in the Ace of Cups way, where we're opening up to a new emotional experience, but in this Page of Cups, we are able to actually ground instincts. We're able to receive signs and messages, and we're able to start imagining what the potential of those will look like. We're able to imagine what kind of connections will be possible. So this is really beautiful. We are walking away from something that we've previously emotionally invested in, but we're doing so to open ourselves up to what is next and what is meant for us to invest in next. We've been attached to this because it's been deeply rooted in our sense of self, our sense of passion, compassion, our sense of joy and celebration, and perhaps even love. And we are making meaning of this by maybe having conversations, sending out those messages, getting clear on what connections you're ready to make now as you move forward. I really love this beautiful energy, and I hope you'll let me know in the comments how this lunation plays out for you. If you want to check out the full lunation story, please go back to my profile and check out my other videos. We'll be pulling for the Taurus new moon next week, and we'll see what all of this is inviting us to plant seeds for as we finally embrace this new turning leaf point. All right, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, please like it, please share, and subscribe. I'll see you next week for the Taurus new moon.